You have been feeling it in the marrow of your bones. A stillness that feels almost heavy, yet entirely weightless. It is a quietness that used to frighten you. But now, it is the only place you feel safe. For years, you were addicted to the chaos, conditioned by a world that told you that if your heart wasn't racing, you weren't truly alive. You were taught that excitement was the peak of human experience, the high of a new person, the rush of a confrontation, the adrenaline of a looming deadline, or the frantic energy of trying to prove your worth to people who were never designed to see you. But look at you now. Notice the shift. Lately, you may have noticed that the things that used to trigger you, the passive-aggressive comments from family members, the sudden shifts in the workplace, the chaotic noise of the digital world, they don't land the same way. You aren't reacting anymore. You are observing. And in that observation, there is a profound, almost eerie sense of peace. For the chosen one, this transition is often confusing at first. You might think you're becoming numb. You might worry that you've lost your passion or that you're slipping into a depression. You might find yourself sitting in a silent room, staring out the window, and wondering why you don't feel the urge to do something. But I am here to tell you, this is not numbness. This is mastery. You are moving out of the frequency of the chase and into the frequency of the throne. The matrix thrives on high arousal emotions. It feeds on your excitement just as much as it feeds on your fear, because both states keep your nervous system in a state of agitation. When you are excited, you are outward facing. You are looking for the next hit, the next validation, the next external event to tell you that you are okay. But peace is inward facing. Peace is a closed loop. It is a frequency that the world cannot harvest. And that is why the world has tried so hard to make you feel guilty for wanting it. Notice the physical symptoms of this shift. Your breathing has slowed. You find yourself sensitive to loud noises, harsh lights, and fast-paced environments. You might find that you can no longer tolerate the hype culture. You see people jumping up and down, chasing the latest trend or the newest drama, and you feel a literal physical exhaustion just watching them. Your body is rejecting the cortisol-driven life you used to lead. You are being purged of the need for the rush. Perhaps you've noticed that your circle has shrunk to almost nothing. In the past, this would have caused you panic. You would have reached out, tried to mend broken bridges, or felt the sting of fear of missing out. But now, the silence of your phone is a relief. The lack of social invitations feels like a gift of time. You are beginning to realize that most of what you called excitement in your past was actually just anxiety in a party dress. It was the vibration of instability. The shift is here. You are realizing that you no longer need to be on all the time. You are realizing that your power doesn't come from your performance. It comes from your presence. You are standing in a space where nothing is happening on the outside, but everything is moving on the inside. You are graduating from the school of chaos. You are learning that the highest form of spiritual currency isn't how much you can manifest, but how much you can remain undisturbed. Listen to the silence around you right now. Do you hear that? That is the sound of your soul finally catching its breath. You are no longer running from the shadow. You have become the light that makes the shadow irrelevant. This peace, this deep, unshakable, boring peace is the signature of the divine. It is the calm before the ultimate elevation. Stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. Stop waiting for the next crisis. The storm hasn't just passed. You have become the center of it, where all is still. The reason this shift feels so jarring, so heavy, and at times so alien, is because you are undergoing a literal rewiring of your spiritual anatomy. You must understand that for lifetimes, and certainly for the entirety of your current incarnation, you have been a conductor for friction energy, the world, the matrix, and the broken lineages you were born into. All operate on the principle of friction. They require resistance, struggle, and the high voltage spark of conflict to feel real. But you are being transitioned into flow energy. The spiritual cause of this sudden preference for peace over excitement is that your vibration has finally crested the wave of the third-dimensional emotional spectrum. In the lower realms, excitement is a form of survival. It is the hunt. It is the adrenaline of the ego seeking its next meal of validation. When you were in that frequency, you needed the highs to know you weren't hitting the lows. But now, the divine has pulled the plug on your ability to process dopamine from chaos. You are being forced into a Sabbath of the soul. You are currently in a state of divine neutrality. In the realms of the spirit, neutrality is the ultimate power position. It is the 0-point field. When you are excited, you are leaning forward into the future, grasping for a result. When you are anxious, you are leaning backward into the past, recoiling from a memory. But when you are in this deep, natural peace, you are perfectly vertical. You are a pillar of light, connecting the earth to the heavens. You are no longer leaking energy to the left or the right. This is why the old things don't work anymore. This is why you can't get hyped up for the things that used to thrill you. The universe has placed a protective barrier around your emotional body. You are being defragmented. Think of your life up until this point as a computer screen with 1,000 tabs open, all of them screaming for your attention, all of them draining your battery. The divine has come through and closed every single one of them. The blank screen you are looking at isn't emptiness, it is unlimited capacity. You are being prepared for a level of manifestation that excitement cannot handle. If the universe gave you the keys to the kingdom while you were still addicted to the rush, you would burn the kingdom down in a week just to feel the heat of the fire. You had to become boring to the world so that you could become useful to the divine. A surgeon does not perform a delicate operation while excited. A surgeon performs with a cold, detached, surgical peace. You are being trained for the great work of your life, and that work requires a steady hand and a silent heart. Spiritually, you are also being hidden. When you are in a state of high excitement or high drama, you emit a massive heat signature in the spirit realm. You become a beacon for every energy vampire, every bottom feeder, and every parasitic entity in the atmosphere. They see your spark and they come to feed. But peace has no signature that the darkness can track. When you enter this deep stillness, you effectively become invisible to the enemy. You are in the world, but not of it. You are walking through the valley of the shadow of death. But the shadows can't find you because you aren't making any noise. This shift is the result of a divine decree over your life. The heavens have declared that your season of learning through suffering is over. You are now entering the season of learning through stillness. You are being taught how to hear the still, small voice that was always drowned out by the drums of the world. You are realizing that the loudest things in your life are usually the least important. The true voice of God doesn't scream, it whispers in the silence between your thoughts. Do not try to fix this. Do not try to manufacture a feeling that is no longer there. If you feel like a flat line, celebrate it. A flat line in the matrix means you are dead to its influence. You are being stabilized. You are being grounded. You are being made unshakable. The shift is simply your soul finally matching the frequency of the new earth, a place where peace is the baseline, and joy is a steady, quiet hum rather than a frantic, fleeting scream, because you have stepped into this deep, unshakable silence. The matrix is beginning to malfunction around you. You must understand that your peace is a weapon. It is a direct threat to the systems of control that have fed on your emotional volatility for decades. When you were excitable, you were predictable. When you were reactive, you were manageable. But now that you have embraced this natural stillness, the people around you, the narcissists, the energy vampires, and the agents of the matrix are starting to panic. Have you noticed how people are acting strange in your presence? Have you seen the look of confusion or even hidden rage in their eyes when they try to bait you into an old argument and you simply don't go there? You don't even have to say no. Your frequency says it for you. You are no longer providing the supply they need to feel alive. To a narcissist or a low vibrational person, your peace feels like a personal insult. It feels like a wall they cannot climb. They are used to pulling your strings and watching you dance to the tune of excitement or crisis. And now that the strings are cut, they are terrified. They are scared of your silence because they cannot read it. In the matrix, information is power. If they can't make you talk, if they can't make you cry, and if they can't make you hype, they have no data on you. You have become a black hole to their psychic radar. They are throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. They might bring up your past. They might hoover you with a fake emergency. They might try to spark a sudden, forced excitement about a new project or a new person, trying to lure you back into the frantic pace of the world. But notice how empty it feels when they try. Notice how you see right through the mask. You aren't being mean, you are being discerning. You are realizing that their high energy is actually just high-pitched desperation. They are like ghosts trying to haunt a house that has been filled with blinding light. They can't find a corner to hide in anymore. Your peace is literally burning them. This is why they might call you cold, boring, or acting like you're better than everyone. They have to label your peace as a defect, because if they admit it's a virtue, they have to admit that their own lives are chaotic and empty. The enemy is reacting this way because your peace is a sign that you have escaped the loop. The matrix operates on cycles of trauma and the high. It keeps you in a loop of seeking the next thrill to distract you from the fact that you are being drained. By choosing peace, you have stepped off the hamster wheel. You are now standing still, watching the wheel spin. And the operators of that wheel are losing their minds. They know that once a chosen one finds their center, they can no longer be bought, sold, or manipulated. You have become unbuyable. They are also reacting to the fact that you are now reflecting their own chaos back at them. When you were reactive, you absorbed their garbage. You were their trash can. But now, you are a mirror. When they come at you with excitement or drama and meet your calm, neutral gaze, they are forced to see their own reflection. They are forced to feel their own internal noise. This is unbearable for them. This is why they might suddenly disappear from your life or lash out in a final, desperate attempt to get a rise out of you. Do not be fooled by their antics. Do not let their urgency become your emergency. They are reacting to your power. Even if they don't have the vocabulary to explain it, they sense that you are moving into a domain where they cannot follow. You are entering the secret place of the Most High, and the entry fee is a peace that surpasses all understanding. They can't afford the ticket. Let them react. Let them whisper. Let them walk away. Their reaction is the ultimate confirmation that the shift is real and that you are winning a war you didn't even have to fight. You are winning by simply existing in the stillness. The metaphysical truth behind this transition is that you are no longer operating under the laws of the terrestrial plane. You have transitioned into the law of divine radiance. In the lower realms, for something to happen, there must be a push, a frantic, kinetic movement that the world calls hustle or excitement. But in the higher dimensions, where you now reside, things do not happen because you push them. They happen because you attract them through the stillness of your own center. You are becoming a gravitational well of peace. This is the fulfillment of the ancient promise. Be still and know that I am God. Most people read that as a suggestion for a 5-minute meditation. But for the chosen one, it is a structural command for your entire existence. To know, in the biblical sense, is to become one with. You are becoming one with the stillness of the Creator. Think of the eye of a hurricane. The winds around it are spinning at hundreds of miles per hour, destroying everything in their path. But the center is absolute, eerie silence. That center is where the power resides. The wind only moves because the center is still. You are that center. The excitement you once chased was actually a form of spiritual fragmentation. It was your soul scattering itself in 1,000 directions, trying to find a home in external events. But now, the universe has initiated a recollection. Your energy is returning to you. Every piece of yourself that you left at a party, in a toxic relationship, or in a desperate career move, is being called back to headquarters. This is why you feel so heavy and quiet. You are becoming dense with your own light. You are no longer a thin energy spread across the world. You are a concentrated, thick presence. Understand the divine law of correspondence. As within, so without. If your internal world is a storm of excitement and anxiety, your outer world will be a series of crashes and burns. But if your internal world is a lake of glass, your outer world must eventually reflect that absolute stability. The prophecy for your life is not one of constant battle, but of restorative dominion. You are being positioned to rule over your circumstances, not by fighting them, but by outlasting them through your peace. The Matrix uses excitement as a lure. It is the worm on the hook. It promises you a peak experience to get you to bite. And once you bite, you are hooked into a cycle of highs and lows. The divine is teaching you the level. The level is the frequency of the eternal. In eternity, there is no new or old. There is only the now. When you are in this natural peace, you are touching the hem of the garment of eternity. You are existing in a state where time begins to dissolve. This is why hours can pass while you are sitting in silence, and it feels like minutes. You are literally stepping out of Chronos, linear, ticking time, and into Kairos, God's opportunistic, eternal time. You must stop labeling this peace as boredom. Boredom is a tool of the ego to get you to go back into the cage. The ego hates peace because the ego cannot exist in peace. The ego is a creature of conflict. It needs a problem to solve or a high to chase to feel valid. When you are still, the ego begins to starve. What you are feeling isn't the loss of your personality. It is the death of your false self. You are witnessing the funeral of the person you had to be to survive the Matrix. This is the deep truth. You were never meant to be a creature of hype. You were designed to be a temple. A temple is not a place of frantic excitement. It is a place of heavy, sacred atmosphere. When people walk into a cathedral, they don't start screaming and dancing. They instinctively whisper, They feel the weight of the silence. That is what is happening to your energy field. You are becoming a walking cathedral. Your peace is the atmosphere of heaven manifesting on earth. You are no longer searching for a miracle. You have become the environment in which miracles are forced to manifest. Now, you must seal this frequency. You must understand that this shift into peace is not a temporary resting stop. It is your new, permanent residence. To maintain this, you must practice the art of divine indifference. When the world tries to pull you back into the high-voltage wires of excitement or the low-frequency static of drama, you must look at it and say, "That no longer moves me." You are grounding your energy into the core of the earth, becoming a lightning rod that can absorb any strike without being shaken. Take a deep breath right now. Feel the weight of your body. Feel the stillness in the room. This is your power. From this day forward, you will no longer apologize for your lack of enthusiasm for the things of this world. You will no longer feel guilty for wanting to stay home, for wanting silence, or for refusing to participate in the frantic energy of the collective. You are an emissary of the stillness. Your only job is to remain centered. When you are centered, everything you need will gravitate toward you. The right people, the right opportunities, and the right abundance will find their way to your door. Drawn by the irresistible magnetic pull of your peace, let us seal this transition with a declaration of power. If you are able, place your hand over your heart and feel the steady, quiet rhythm of your own life force. Divine Creator, I thank you for the gift of the shift. I recognize that the excitement I once chased was merely a distraction from the power I already possessed. I repent for every time I traded my peace for a temporary high, and for every time I allowed the noise of the matrix to drown out your voice. Today, I claim my throne of stillness. I decree that my nervous system is now calibrated to the frequency of heaven. I am unshakable. I am undisturbed. I am invisible to the predators of the dark and radiant to the blessings of the light. I seal my energy field now. I pull back every fragment of my soul from the world of chaos. I am whole. I am quiet. I am powerful. Notice how your body feels after those words. The shift is now complete in your awareness. You don't have to go looking for it tomorrow. It is already who you are. The next time someone tries to provoke you, or the next time you feel the old urge to rush or hype yourself up, remember this moment. Remember that the king and the queen do not run. They walk with a heavy, deliberate peace. You are royalty in a world of peasants, and your silence is your crown. If this message resonated with your spirit, if you felt the truth of these words in your very cells, I invite you to claim this energy in the comments below. Write, "I am the peace in the storm," to lock this frequency into your reality. Do not let the thief of excitement steal your peace ever again. Subscribe to this channel to stay aligned with the higher frequencies of the chosen. You are the vanguard of the new earth. Walk in your silence. Rule in your stillness. The shift is over. The rest of your life begins in the quiet,